We've got audio. Perfect. Everything is set. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious, with a splendid day, not so hot, but also pretty windy, from California, the US of A, today being Shabbat, the 16th of Adar, the 2nd, the 13th month of the year 5994 from creation, which corresponds to the 4th of April of the year 2026. Everyone is celebrating Easter, which is a very pagan name that has nothing to do with the fact, but, well, that is what the Christians call it, certain Christians. Easter, for the Jews, is Pesach, but for us, nothing. Because we're in the 13th month. Because the Jewish calendar, in order for it to match up in this imperfection, in which Yahweh made everything in perfection with a purpose. Everything is imperfect. There's nothing perfect here. Even the calendar that he gave us, you have to be adding a month so that we don't start to circulate the calendar and we end up celebrating Pesach in summer, in winter, in autumn, when it always has to be in spring. So then for us, because we got different specific rules of the sun and the moon, we know when to add a month. The Jews knew at some point in time. Now they could care less, and everything is just fits into a certain format, and they just program it every now and then. They add a month to a certain year, and this year we are out of sync with the Jews. We could give a flying, well, I'm not going to start with phrases like that, but it's just that we could care less when they celebrate. In fact, their celebrations are very different than ours. Ours will always get different, separated from everything. For us, it's not Pesach, it's not Easter. It was never that. It's not Pesach, it's not Passover, it's nothing, absolutely nothing. It is a precious Shabbat for us. Very well. I'd like to congratulate those who have had a birthday first, which are as follows: Luis Albert Mendoza Baez, the Dominican Republic; Jasmine Padilla Torres, Venezuela; Jair Lombardi, Peru; Edna Elizabeth Lozano Marcos, Mexico; Denis del Carmen Villegas, Colombia; Alex Perez, Peru; Judith Batista, Panama; and Ashlyn Lee Ramos, the US of A, which shows up here every now and then. She hasn't shown up, but she's signed as a judge. That's why we greet Ashlyn. That we've seen her some time ago, but it's been some time that we have yet to see her again. She still lives with her mom. She's young, and the aunt brings her over every now and then, but we greet her anyway. Another one that have had a birthday are we. Well, it's not that we have had a birthday, but it's an anniversary from Judgment. LVE, April 2nd, 2 days ago. It's been 4 years that we had a judgment against Babylon. Incredible how time flies. 4 years. Also, April 2nd, the Argentine Malvinas that we recuperated them on. And then we had the Malvine War. We lost them. For me, it was all controlled by the filthy governments, but the Malvinas are absolutely Argentinian, and then they'll pass over onto the hands of a different group that you can already imagine, but well. That took place on April 2nd of 1982. I remember it as if it were today. Also, I was checking out yesterday, it popped up in Facebook. It's been 14 years since the April 3rd of the year 2012. What took place on April 3rd of 2012 for us, specifically for us here, we burned the books of Ellen G. White. I was checking out the pictures. Wow, how time has. I looked so young. I looked young, thinner. We were doing DAR back then, or we had just got done from doing DAR. I was so young. Another person completely burning the books of Ellen G. White. Not just any books. I had such a collection of lots of money. I calculated between $15,000 and $20,000, just so you can understand how much money I had invested in those, because I looked up for books that were original in her time, because I wanted to have them published when she was still alive. Even though I had other copies, doesn't matter. I had books very difficult to get, impressive copies. I had a whole library of hers, and it all ended up in the fire pit. It's been 14 years. I can't believe how time flies. Actually, it's not too much but our life, which Yahweh, with such pity, He gave us 70 or 80 years to live. Well, it's a long time, 14 years, that's a long time. Actually, it's nothing in eternity, but in this life that was given to us, wow, how time flies. And of course, we lament that time has flies, because life just leaves us. It just flies away. How ugly a phrase. And also, yesterday, April 3rd, the Boca Juniors Club also had a birthday. It was on April 3rd of the year 1905, 121 years, turning 121 years. The Boca Juniors Athletic Club. A very happy birthday, Boca. Who saw the game of Boca on Thursday? If you didn't watch it, you got a 0. If you saw it, we enjoyed it because it was difficult to win in Cordoba, in a hostile field. A good team against a good team, which is Talleres. Which it was actually a game, and we had just half the bench. Bere that attacks for us, that has lots of virtue, but also has lots of uncertainties because of his own age. He doesn't have the confidence, nor the field, or the experience, and there are plays that he goes out and he's uncertain, or he has to do it with his hand. He hits it with his head and doesn't know what to do. And we're always with the heart in our mouth, but he kept it 0-0. I mean, so we were suffering that game. Oh, mamma mia! We could have scored a lot more goals. We didn't define all that well, but in one, Barreiro did define from a pass from Merentiel that really played awful. I wanted to kick him out already, 15 minutes, kick him out, but he played awful. And actually, we were able to connect that goal, and that is what gave us 3 points. Impressive. And Boca plays on Tuesday. I don't know what you'll be doing, if working, studying, or doing absolutely nothing, fighting in this life. But on Tuesday we start the Copa Libertadores that I want to win. I want to win the 7th Cup. And we go against a team that's pretty difficult in Chile, one of the most difficult ones in Chile, the Catholic University. Very hostile, because the Chilean fans and the Argentinian fans, there's been so many problems between them, and violence. It is very latent right there. And since we've got so much history, you remember what happened last year with Independiente, from Independiente, some Chileans, I mean, a disaster. No one died out of a miracle only. But I remember the wars against Chile from the time of my childhood. I remember when a dog from the police from Chile bit our goalie, I remember that. Imagine in Chile, I mean, disaster. The Chilean police, they let the dog go against our goalie, and he bit him. I mean, there's such violence history, such bad blood, and we're brother countries. There is such rivalry, and it increments. When we had the war with Malvinas, they sided with England, and the Argentinos won't forget it. And it comes from before, because we almost went into war because of the canal. Remember? Exactly. And Chile tries to grab lands that belong to Argentina. And Argentina says that it belongs to Chile. I don't get into that. I think it all belongs to Argentina, but taking that out. Even the Pope had to get into that war that we were having because of the canal of Beetle. I mean, a disaster. There's lots, a huge rivalry. It's not, the people in Chile is bad. It's just that those are the circumstances. So that all takes in turn. Every time we play against Chile, there's such a different emotion. As it turns out, the story is so much so that the Catholic University said, we're not going to receive Argentinian fans. It was a huge chaos because Boca called the CONMEBOL, and they said, because by regulation of CONMEBOL, which is the organism that organizes the Copa Libertadores, you have to have at least, or at the estimate of 2,000, at least 2,000 visitors. They have to accept in the field, in the rival, 2,000 visitors well protected. They have to have police and the spaces in between the fans with a huge space so that they can't be throwing things against each other. They call that the lungs. So then the headquarters that organizes it as local, they have to allow for people, 2,000 fans, protect them, put custody, and to make sure that there's no problems. So then the Catholic and university said, you know what, we're not going to accept anybody because we have a small field and blah, blah, blah. We don't have security. So then Boca said, no. If they want to play without us, because it's the 12 of Boca that's going on there. Just to tell you a little bit, because a lot of people don't know this a lot. It's people with money from Boca, but a group always goes of at least 1,000 people paid by the club that are fans. I mean, really, Warriors fans, if they have to fight, they have no problems of fighting. They're the fans that even if the team is losing, they still go, and it's the 12. They call it the 12. They have that privilege. And Boca pays for their everything they need to get there. It's like part of the club. It's not part of the club, but they do benefit because they have music and all the rest, and the flags and everything that the brave fans of the clubs do. So then Boca said, they went and complained against the CONMEBOL and said, if they don't allow us to take the 2,000 fans of Boca, they have to play without anyone on their field either, and they should not have any fans either. So then CONMEBOL, knowing their own rules, they said to the Catholic University, okay, you have two options. Your stadium is small or doesn't guarantee security, then play in a different stadium. But the 2,000 of Boca have to enter. And if you don't accept for 2,000 visitors to be there, then you have to play with an empty field, without any fans of yours. That's even more problematic for the team, for them to not have fans. And they said, no, wait. Okay, so that is where they said, okay, we have solutions now. And apparently the solutions are set. Boca's going to take the 2,000 fans to the game. When is it? This Tuesday. You already know. All the new fans of Boca. When we play against the Chilean team, it's war. It is a war when we play against the Chilean teams, because there is lots of bad blood there. lots of chaos there. It's not against the Chilean people. It's in soccer. There is a very special rivalry, a lot more, even against Brazil, even more against. Brazilians are our sons, but the Chileans, I mean, it's a rivalry. Not we always beat them. It's not really about soccer, but it's just fights. I mean, it's bad blood. Bad blood. Don't miss it. Boca plays this Tuesday at 5:30 my time. 5:30 my time. 17:30. You adjust your clocks for this war that is coming. I mean, this war is coming, and we need the points, or else you get a 0. Reprobates, like what Paul says, those are the ones that don't watch the Boca games. The reprobates, the retrogrades, also, whatever you will. Retarded. Well, no, that's a nasty one. Reprobates. The reprobates. They're odd words. They're weird words. The reprobates. Very well. So then let's go Boca. We have to win in Chile. It was such a game the other day. I mean, wow, I was so happy. Generally, I'm not happy because that's how soccer is. But I was happy as visitors. Aranda played such a game. That guy, I mean, wow, he really crushed it. He really hit everything, got the control against Merentiel. Merentiel made one sole good play in the whole game and really pushed it. Spectacular goal. 3 points for us that we needed. Very well. I hope Barreiro plays well in the Copa Libertadores. So then that's how things are. Let us present the little gifts. Let's see, which one should we begin with? Well, let's begin with this one. This one was sent to me by Moa. Thank you, Moa. I've written to you already many things. I'll show you here in a bit. Also, the courtesy of Saeed. They should have arrived by Christmas. They were Christmas gifts. They got here a little late, but the destiny is written. In the end, is inevitable. It had to arrive here in however which way, so then they arrived. What was sent to us by Moa? He sent us, I'll read to you what he said here. He says, Merry Christmas, exactly, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year and all the rest. These gifts are fragrances prepared in Brazil with prime materials from Amazonia. So then they're very delicious. This is, for example, this is called Natura Biografia Assinatura or something like that. This is for gentlemen. It's got a flavor that's very, very, very masculine. It's a fragrance, very masculine. This is for women. That says feminine cologne, which is Kalak Zone. They say those who respect the ocean and whatever else. This is about the same thing. Here's another one, an Omen Especiarias. Omen Especiarias. It's a deodorant and masculine cologne. So then he gave us things for all of us. This is another cologne here. Same thing. So then many, many thanks. They are very, very original in the perfumes, and I like them. I like them a lot. Very well. Many thanks, Moa. We continue on with this here. And now the rabbit has arrived. The rabbit has arrived. No, not this one. This is not the rabbit. I'll show you which one it is. This is sent by Nila. Nila wrote to me, and she said, would you like to have the new jerseys or shirts of the Argentinian selection that they're going to play? I said, of course. We don't have them. Here is the new one. This is for my size, the new Argentinian model that they're going to use in the World Cup, that they're using now for the World Cup. It's spectacular, fantastic. I mean, how every detail, fantastic. I mean, don't even sent us one for each one of us in this bag. I didn't want to take them all out. This is for Angelina, Leslie's, and Brian's. Many thanks, and also she sent a collaboration for the eternal truth, and a little bit for Angelina. Many thanks, Nila. Spectacular. I have no words to describe how beautiful are these gifts. And now, oh, Nila also sent this. She sent this and this. We've already tried these. These are like lemon and cream and white chocolate. It's like eggnog for Easter. It's got nothing to do with Easter, but if they give us something, we'll celebrate it. And these caught my attention because they're called Lucifer, ginger, and chili biscuit. And Lucifer shows up, right? I wish they were Lucifers. They would be Yahweh's, and they'd come with, well, it depends, right? Because Yahweh sometimes he sends poison things. So it really caught my attention. It's Lucifer's, and a type of Lucifer shows up, a fallen angel with a malicious face, looking with two horns. But what these biscuits have is they're extremely spicy. Wow. It says, the ginger lures, the chili bites, the palate recoils. One air anew. They're just so infernally tempting, yeah, because they're extremely spicy. It may seem at first that they don't, and then it's like, yeah, this is something from Lucifer. Lucifer is spicy. It really called my attention. Wow. I like them. I love them. The Lucifer ones. We'll leave Lucifer here so that the people can see. The people are going to be like, oh no, that cannot be Lucifer. Where do we place you, Lucifer? Lucifer. There we go. Hidden behind the things there. Lucifer does not exist. There's no fallen angels whose name is Lucifer. Lucifer is no one's name. Lucifer is a name. It's a synonym of Israel, because Lucifer only means the bearer of light. And the one that is told, thou art the bearer of light, is Israel. So then Lucifer is Israel. Misinterpreted by the Christians. Oh, Lucifer's an angel. He's the most intelligent angel. He is the angel that was right after Jesus in rank, and all the stories, the Christian stories that we know, that Lucifer's an angel that rebelled in heaven and wanted to be like God. Since he wasn't able to, he fought against God and lost, but he took 1/3 of the angels. So then heaven, whatever number they have of angels, 1/3 followed Lucifer. Lucifer became the Satan or devil, ancient serpent, everything that we know already. It's all a myth. Absolutely a myth. Created by Yahweh. Created, has no angel that has disobeyed him, none. He has no one that tried to be like him, and he had to kick him out. And whatever he does because he wants to. So then, the only Lucifer there is, in any case, Satan is him. And the only Lucifer that exists in today's day and age, the real one, is called the eternal truth. Because it is the bearer of light into the world, and will bear the entire light into the world. So then if someone is Lucifer, it is us. And with lots of honor. So then, many thanks, Nila. This time we do go and check out Felix's gift. He sent us. This is another bearer of light, another type of Lucifer, but it is for the candles. It's a bearer of light because it bears candles. A bearer of light. It's also Lucifer. So he sent us 2 of these. I have the other one there. And 2 bunnies. Chocolate bunnies. Chocolate bunnies for Easter. They don't go inside, but they are here. They came, and there's 2. Like I told you, here's the other one. They arrived well. Oh, how cute. This has a little ribbon, an orange ribbon. This little bunny. This one doesn't have a ribbon. I thought he did. Oh, it doesn't have a ribbon. Okay. And also another one from Felix. Well, I'm gonna have to buy a bigger house to store all the gifts because nothing fits here anymore. So you already know we need collaborations for a bigger house. And yes, yeah, there's no other option. Don't stop sending gifts, but now send gifts in collaboration for a bigger house. That is what we need. And he brought us this. I took everything out except for the little piece there that I didn't want it to be broken or to be grabbed by the cats. They're very dangerous. They climb all over the place. Wow. I always had to deal with dogs not to climb everywhere except on the table, but the cats climb on everything. They knock everything off, and they're like the bunnies. Maybe it looks like a bunny, but it's terrible. Huge bunny. Huge. Many thanks, Felix. Tell the truth. Your gifts are fantastic, impressive. This terrible, huge chocolate bunny. It weighs an entire kilo of chocolate. 2 pounds, 3 ounces. 1,000 grams. Take that. 1,000-gram chocolate, huge bunny. Chocolate gold bunny. What if it was an actual 1 kilo of gold? Then I would sell it and buy a bigger house. If you keep sending golden bunnies, we can sell them and we buy a bigger house so we can receive more gifts. Imagine what type of a house we're going to have when we become the owners and kings and lords of the entire earth. Every person that receives eternal life and that receives justice and receives life and life in abundance, of course they want to be grateful with their government. It's all backwards from now that they want to turn the governments over. No, they're going to be grateful with the governments, and so then the government's going to have an enormous house that you cannot imagine how big to keep all the gifts, presents. I mean, you're not going to throw any gifts away because you keep them and remember them with love. That is the art of giving things. They're like, oh, he gave me this 800 years ago. He gave me this 9,400 centuries ago, and I still have it here. Where do we keep things? We need a huge space. So then just imagine the space that we're going to have to use out of all the gratefulness of the billions of people that are going to live on Earth. Impressive. I'm telling you so that you have an idea for opening your mind that would take place. That'll take place. I've always told you this, but one time with Leslie, we watched some videos of Michael Jackson when he died, of the house that they found. It was covered with gifts, rewards, all kinds of things. It's an enormous mansion. But that and all covered of all the rewards and gifts and presents and all types of things that they would give him. Because since they would admire his music a lot, or the person, how does a human being demonstrate the love or gratefulness? And by giving him something. And the gifts he had, he would keep them, the tables covered with things and things and things. And wow, I remember that. Just imagine Michael Jackson that doesn't give love to anyone, not even to himself. Now imagine the government that will give everything, life, justice. Of course the people are going to be eternally grateful. We do not understand it. We do not understand it. But I've read it to you in Revelation. It clearly says that in the New Jerusalem, in the capital of the kingdom, they're going to come laden with gifts of all the human beings that live on earth. It's not that I'm making this up. You can't make this up. Solomon, who was just any king, intelligent and whatever you want, but of a minute country that was Israel, the guy, since he was so wise, or wiser than those people of his time, the caravans would come offering gifts on a permanent basis. Just imagine Solomon now. Imagine a true being or many beings, a government, that actually has given something. Because what did Solomon give the people? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Nothing, just problems. After his kingdom, Israel's broken up forever. So what he gave them? Nothing, nothing, garbage. But I'm talking about a government that's a God, in the sense of having a power and authority that's divine, and being able to give life, resurrecting family members, everything. Do you know the level of insanity, of gratefulness that the people are going to feel? They're not going to, you cannot process it. I can't even grasp it myself, of how grateful the people are going to be. And not grateful for just a limited time of life, but for eternity. So we need a huge space. I need a bigger space right now. Very well. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our God, Yahweh is one sole person. It's not two, not three. It's one. From then on out, the Bible is open for those who want to understand. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word. The word is concealed. Yet glory of the king, those who will rule the earth, is to discover, understand, to take the cover off, to search out the word. For all the rest that are not kings, they will say as follows, Jeremiah 16:19-21. Yahweh, my strength and my fortress, my refuge in the day of tribulation. Unto thee shall come the peoples from the ends of the earth, and shall say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers, vanity to which there is no avail. If it is man that makes himself gods, then they are not gods. That is why, behold, I will make it be known unto the son which will show them the strength of mine arm, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. The whole world will say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. And speaking about lies, I don't know if Donald Trump does this to try to deviate the attention of the war that he's losing by a landslide, or to also distract from everything else that's happening in his government. That's a whole disaster. But the day of the fools, April Fool's Day, which is the 1st of April, what did they want to do? To send a rocket into the moon with a squad, and Artemis 2, the goddess Artemis, which is the virgin goddess, an eternal goddess, Artemis, the goddess of the house. She's a goddess that has a bow, the goddess of the house that shoots arrows, a virgin, I don't know what else, something completely stupid. But Artemis 2 flew towards the moon. They're not going to land on the moon. They never landed on the moon, nor could they. But now they say, we're not going to land on the moon, we're just going to go around the moon and come back. And within that whole range of stupidity that I've seen, all of the glorifiers, the glazers of the globe earth, they say, there you have it, you flat earthers, there's the proof. They send out pictures. One picture is worse than the next. Of the CGI time and of AI, we're going to believe the pictures they sent us and that they show us? Absolutely not. They haven't gone anywhere. It is 4 idiots that must be in a very hidden place, and I can already see that they're actually stupid themselves, and that they believe it themselves, and made them believe that they're actually going to the moon. And the stupidity of the people that believe the story after seeing what they've done during these 50 years of lies, that we never got anywhere. That the cables you can see everywhere, the people that were there, and how it was ridiculous that they cannot not even try to implement any type of movement towards anything where there is a void in the moon. They said, and they still say, that there's an absolute void, and this absolute void, there's no atmosphere, no oxygen, no nothing. There's no way that you can ignite a rocket and that you can push yourself off. It doesn't exist. So then we see the images of when they landed on the moon and they went, the rocket went there, and then a little bit of fire came out and they landed. And then they took off from the moon and came back. So then the level of stupidity is so great that the people still believe that up until today. Of course, they're going to believe all the stupidities that they show now. So then, tell the truth, we live in a place that would seem to be within a movie. Once you know the truth, you cannot understand the level of stupidity. Tell the truth, you would not want to live any longer in this place because we don't belong here. It is just like, not just as, but give or take what Yeshua says in his supposed prayer. He says, they're not of the world. I don't ask you to take them out of the world. We're not of this stupid, lying world. Of course not. And I don't ask you to take him out. Thank you. You should take him out. I don't ask you to take him out, but just protect him from evil. Protect him from me, he might say. He meant a complete fake story if we analyze that prayer. I mean, forget it. It's got good things that it could apply in other things, but the level of the son of a bitchism of Yahweh has no limit. Just like that, no limit. No limit. The farce of the NASA is tiny next to the farce of Yahweh. I mean, brutal, but oh well. We're going back to the moon. How about that? We cannot enter into Iran, nor will we, nor do I want to enter into Iran, okay? Don't misunderstand me. It's not that I want to, I'm not proposing, but we cannot even open the Hormuz Strait, but we are going to land on the moon. I mean, they make me laugh. I mean, it's complete farce, so great that out of laughing, you just get so sick of it that you say, hey, when does Boca play? Well, at least something that I don't know if it's okay or wrong. There's nothing that's right or wrong, but it distracts me from the stupidities. I can already guess that we're in some other type of stupidity, but anyway, whatever. Give me anything else other than this stupid reality. And yes, and I'll read this with all my might. Malachi 2:17, ye have wearied Yahweh with your words, and you say, what have we wearied him? In that ye are a son of a bitch, lying son of a bitch. You deceive us, you give power to the NASA, you laugh at us, you laugh of all humanity, you make our life impossible. Not just that. We're not sick, but completely rotten of your fucking power in government and design and creation and your stupidity and your chosen dog shit people and your kings and your rulers and your plan. It's all that you can shove it well up the ass and fuck off. We want you to fuck off already. Now, Yahweh. That is what the text says. I don't know what version you're reading, but that's the one I'm reading. It says, whomever doth evil pleaseth Yahweh, as Netanyahu, Trump does in the whole world, the NASA, the governments, your mom, your dad, my mom, my dad, the fucking religions, the biblical prophets, non-biblical, all types of prophets. All of them please Yahweh, and in such he delighteth. Yes, exactly. He delighteth in NASA, in Artemis 2, or else, where is the Elohim of justice? Where is the Elohim of justice? Yahweh, where is he? Here is, but has no power yet. But here it is, the Elohim of justice. And he grumbles and complains in order for power to be given unto him. It's as simple as that. Wisdom and Discipline 61. Invitational text, the same as last week. Proverbs 7:1-3, New Living Translation. My son, follow my advice. Always treasure my commands. Obey them and live. Guard my teachings as your most precious possession. Tie them to your fingers as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. And good thing that it says tie them to your fingers got something to do with the ring of the eternal truth. Those who received the benefit in the time in which we could get the ring, what a best way to tie them to a ring than to put a ring on. And what a better way than that the ring says the eternal truth. spectacular, actually spectacular. Every time you look at the ring and it says the eternal truth, it reminds you of everything we are. All we are. There's no need to say anything else. The eternal truth. It's something living, the eternal truth is. It reminds you that the earth is flat. It reminds you of the lies. It reminds you of the anger against Yahweh. It reminds you the anger against the Bible, against the biblical prophets. Everything. It gives you hate towards the system of the priests of the white robe just by looking at the symbol LVE. LVE is precisely what I've just said. I have some questions. Question number one. It says, I'd like to have the ring of LV. Do you think I can obtain it now? No. Too late. I no longer have the contact with the person that made the rings. It was during a time that has passed. It was a time in which it had its time to do so. So then, unfortunately, there's no more ring. There's no way of acquiring it at all. It was a one-time deal, as they say in English. A one-time deal. An only opportunity, and it's passed, so it's passed. So if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. If you lost it, you lost it. And that's the way it is. That's it, it's over. But as a reminder, how beautiful is this reminder to have it. You look at it as this LVE, and I see everything that I've just said, everything. Summed up as a symbol. It contains thousands of words. Could you send me the explanation about the consumption of pork? Well, the consumption of pork is, in one of the places where it's more explicit is Leviticus 11, where it says we should not eat for the people of Israel. I'll go into it. The people of Israel cannot eat certain animals, so then the characteristics for the mammals, which have to have a divided hoof, something which the pork has, a cloven hoof, and they have to be ruminant, something that the pork does not have. Ruminant means that they have a property of having many stomachs, generally 4. And they're ruminant because they eat something, it goes to a stomach, goes back to the mouth, they chew it up again, goes to another stomach, and that's the way that it's another digestive system. So they have to be ruminant, like are all the goats, the sheep, the cows, all those clean animals to eat. Precisely, do that. But those that don't have that characteristic are unclean, and the pork is specifically named that they are an unclean animal. You will tell me with all reason, but isn't that we cast away the Torah? Isn't it that the Torah says that you get circumcised, but we are against that absolutely, and we believe that circumcision is a complete crime. An insane, yes, aside from a violation and many other things. Doesn't the Torah say that we, during Pesach, we should not have any leaven and we eat the most leaven on that day? At least we try to. And I would have to say yes. Yes. Does the Torah not say, and blah, 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 so on and so forth? 10,000 things. Why do we continue to sustain that pork is unclean? Well, I don't have a defense whatsoever to tell you to not eat pork. All I can tell you is eat whatever you want. It is filthy to me. It is disgusting to me. Not because I'm a fan of the laws of the Torah. No. But I understand something. I understand that the Creator, who created things, actually knows what he made, so then I don't take it as a law. I would think that he's right in that pork is not the best food to eat. And I could care less if it's filthy to him or not. Yahweh is filthy to me. It's disgusting. Yahweh is disgusting to me, and his laws are disgusting. That does not mean that now freely I'm going to eat pork because pork is the best thing ever. No. Is it a sin to eat pork? No, it is not. It is not a sin. I am telling you to not eat pork. No, I'm not telling you not to eat pork. I'm telling you that it is disgusting for me to eat pork. I was going to say something else, but if I say it, it's going to sound very ugly. No, I won't say it. It is disgusting for me to eat pork, and I don't like too much either the people that eat pork. I was going to say something else. I don't know. You're going to say, why are you like that? Well, you see how, I don't know. It's not that I don't like the people. It's just that, I don't know. Since it's disgusting to me, it's also disgusting for me to see them eat it. I don't know what to tell you. If it's disgusting to me, then the other people that want to eat it, it's also, I mean, that's fine. But it's still the same sensation that if I were to eat it, one thing is for me to not eat something because I don't like it. And another is that it is disgusting to me. I get nauseous. I'm talking about my person, my person. That's all I can say, my person. I'm not making any law. If there is something that is nauseous to me, when I see it in another person, it's the same sensation. I can't separate the two. I can't separate the two. What could it be? Let's suppose that there are people that love, I'm just making something up. I don't want to hurt anybody. There are people that love to drink the wheatgrass shots. We drank it many times. Just remembering it, my stomach turns. I drank that during DAR many times. We used to buy the wheatgrass, or we would make the wheatgrass, harvest it, and take a little shot like this, little tiny shot. Good thing it was a little shot, little tiny shot. At first it was sweet, and then it's got this flavor that I don't know. It's just contrary to human beings completely. It just goes like this, like that. Horrible. And then it makes your stomach hurt to top it off. So that is, to me, it is nauseous. If another eats it, just by speaking it, it produces that sensation that it's nauseous. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just so you understand that since pork is disgusting to me, when I see others eat pork, it is disgusting to me. I don't want you to cause me to be nauseous because of you. I don't want you to come out badly of the situation. There's no law. It is not a sin. I personally would prefer, I would like that my friends would not eat pork because it is disgusting to me. And I don't want to translate that nauseous by seeing my friends. If you tell me, I don't know, Pepito were to come along. Pepito, let's say Pepito's from the Eternal Truth. And let's say, okay, so he's from the Eternal Truth. So then he comes and says, and I ask him, oh, what did you eat, Pepito? Oh, I made these pork ribs yesterday. And they were, oh, wow, how delicious. I'm going to imagine the pork that he ate that went through his stomach, his blood, through his being, his pores, his presence to his spirit. And that when he breathes pork on me, and he gives me his hand. And he leaves me lard on, even if it's not there. All that goes through my mind. So then Pepito now becomes somebody that is nauseous to me, not because I want to seem that way. It's just that the product that they ingested is so nauseous that if he digests it, he's part of the product. The Jews say, and they're right in this, that we are what we eat. And that when we eat an animal, we elevate the animal because we take the fibers of them. Let's suppose it's a cow. And those fibers of the cow, we take them in, disintegrate them. And when I'm referring to fibers, I'm referring to proteins, everything that goes into the meat. And we absorb it. And with that material, we make our cells and renew them. If you eat lots of fish, like I've seen people do, lots of fish, the fish diet, that person will smell like fish. You get near them, they smell like fish. And their clothes are impregnated with the smell of fish, and his bed smells like fish. His pillow has that smell, and when he goes to bathe, he also smells like, because the fish goes through the being. If you eat a lot of garlic and you have the diet of the garlic, which is just by garlic, you're going to transpire, smell, and look almost like a garlic. Why? Because we absorb the properties of the things that we eat, and we make them ours. We make them ours. So then, when we talk about food, there is no law that says this is a sin or not a sin, but the one that eats pork becomes a pork. Oh, well, if you eat a cow, you become a cow. There's no problem. The cow is not disgusting to me. I make it a human. But the pork, yes, your particles will be based in pork. Whether you like it or not, you see it like that or not, what we eat it. There's a reason why we eat it. It's not just energy. It is the reconstruction of our cells. And our cells, we change them. And according to the materials that we add, our own nature, physical nature, will change. If I eat lots of fruit, and many fresh things, my skin starts to get red. Why? Because the cells start to change along with the elements that I give it so that it reconstructs. It is very important what I'm saying. If I give it pork, or a little bit, no matter how much pork I give it, my flesh will be reconstructed based with pork. And for me, pork is filthy, so I think in my mind, subconsciously and consciously, you are a pig. Because you're reconstructing yourselves with pork. Maybe you don't see it that way. Maybe you say, well, he's so dramatic, this guy. I am dramatic. I'm very emotional. Exactly. I'm Argentinian and I'm a Boca fan. If you're from River, then you sweat River and you're nauseous to me. Not as a human being. I'll help you whenever you need and whatever. But you are a chicken for life. If you're a Boca fan, you are Ceneice. You're a Boca Juniors, you're my brother because you consume the same product because those colors impregnate you. What are the colors? It is blue and gold. Blue and gold. That's the way it is. We human beings are that way. Can I change it? I cannot change it. I can't change it. So then, to eat pork is nauseous to me. And if you eat pork, even if I'll use my best face for me, you're still nauseous. That's it. It's over. That is my opinion. If you don't like it, there's the door. And you can go fuck off. That's it. That's the way it is. What do you want me to tell you? What if I have a group of friends, my group of friends, my family, my lineage? For now, it's family starving to death, but my real lineage made of pig. No, I can't conceive it. You're like, well, to what a point do you take it? Well, I take it to a point that no one ever takes it to, because no one ever takes things to that point. I take him to that point, because we constitute ourselves of blue and gold, or of white and red that's filthy. Filthy, something which, I mean, a white and red flag, I hate it. I look at that symbol that says carp, I hate it. I hate it. It cannot enter into my mind. It cannot. But I see a different one that says scab. The Boca Juniors Athletic Club, and I see it blue and gold, like this precious seal here, and it gives me a sensation of peace. Of ecstasy. That's the way it is. That's the way it is, period. That's the way it is. So then, conclusion, don't eat pork if you want to be my friend. And that's because the fucking Torah says it, and that's because Moses says this. I could give a fuck about that. I hate pork. You want to be my friend? Don't eat pork. And if you eat pork, don't ever tell me, because I'm going to look at you like a pig. That's it, it's over. That is my message. Take it or leave it, whatever you want. That is the explanation of the eternal truth about pork. Very pretty. Everything I do, it's different. That's the way it is. Critics. I receive critics because any type of people listen to me. Critics. Critique. Here, the one I'm going to read here, I'm going to be good like I always am, honest like I always am, and delicate like I always am. But it denotes that there is a love, Christian love, for the God that they made you think you know and you don't know, and you won't ever be able to see the truth until you take that love out. The mistakes of the human being, it's a critique. Each mast should hold its own sail. I've never heard of it. Probably like everyone should carry their own weight. The mistakes of humans should not be attributed as Yahweh's fault. Okay, first I'll read it, and then I'll comment. Don't call God an assassin, because to assassin means to kill unjustly, and God is not unjust, but just. God made us free, and in that freedom, the possibility of sinning exists. But that decision depends on us, and not of God. You've made your bed, now lay in it, per se. Let's not blame God for everything that happens, because we also have our own responsibilities, and we have to assume our own mistakes. For me, that means to become an adult spiritually and not to be continually blaming others or the parents. It's been years listening to you. Listening to me, but not understanding, which is different. It's been years listening to you. Right. It's been years listening to you, and I appreciate your job and your honest sincerity, right or wrong, as well as your family. I don't know why, but God doesn't laugh at us, but He died for us. Oh, wow. I don't know if I should laugh with this. I don't know if I should laugh at this critique. Oh, okay. I'm going to answer you quickly. Because to tell you the truth, sometimes we are too limited. I'll answer you as if I were speaking to you, the person that wrote this to me. The others draw their own conclusions. Sometimes we think that we're too smart, and we look at the scene and we evaluate the just and precise evaluation. Sometimes we self-evaluate, and so we see that the sinner and the one to blame is us and not God. And to all that we add, whether we take into account or not, that we have an education and absolutely programmed. A part by society, another by your church, another part by your parents, another by yourself, and another part of God. To say that God is not an assassin is to have never read the Bible with the open eyes ever. God is absolutely murderous. From the moment in which He took away our life, from the moment in which He said, "You will die, whatever assassin says, I will kill you." That is what God said. If you touch that fruit, and I will kill you. And what He did was that He killed us all. That is the basic principle, that God is an assassin. Then God made sure to kill out of time billions of people, not with the programmed time, but the age of which He's the assassin, but before time He took the possibility of whatsoever to get to His 80 years of life, and He took it before and killed them. God is an assassin. He's the most assassin. He's the main and first assassin which humanity has known. He's the greatest of them all. Second point. It says that God made us free. And in that liberty, the possibility of sinning exists, but that decision depends on us. That is pure Christianity right there. God didn't make us free. Why did He not make us free? Because we do not know, nor do we choose where we'll be born. It doesn't depend on us until we're already ruined in our mind of being able to think coherently when a child is born in a house, like what happens to the majority with parents. Not of the best. They could be good parents, bad parents, absolutely unjust, wrong parents, absent parents, drinking parents, abusive parents, striking parents, violating parents. That whole mixture, in greater or a lesser grade, the children are born. No home is perfect. So then, before the child can think, he also has a whole quantity of traumas of which he could not ever ask for or choose child does not choose where to be born, what language to speak, and what level of money to have. So then we have a whole quantity of people that are absolutely poor. They've been born in poverty and they die in poverty. And as it turns out, those people have worked their whole life, and harshly so worked their whole life. They have arisen before the sun arises, and they work all day, 1, 2, 3 jobs, using their best efforts, and they've been born poor and died poor. Why? Because the opportunity of being able to develop their brain has ever been given to them with other conditions to achieve other results. So then, as children, they're born in poor homes with poor parents, and I'm referring to poor aside from money, poor in spirit. That things are not taught them the right things, and they haven't even fed them in the best way possible. Not even can I ever get to their potential because they give them inferior food. Let's suppose that they give them just bread of whatever there is, or just beans, or rice and beans, but they don't have the privileges of eating a whole variety of fruits because they can't buy them, nor are there any, nor the protein they need, not even the milk they need to develop the brain in the moment in which they are growing. Later, when they're older, no matter how well they eat in the moment of the development, he didn't have the materials enough to develop. And you talk to me that we have the freedom. You can't be more of a son of a bitch. Freedom of what do you have? You have never even thought in one fucking human being that was born in poverty in a place in which the basic things weren't given to them, and to top it off, he was violated, tortured, he was lied to, he was subjugated, and you want to have a good product, and you say that it depends on us. You can't be more of a fucking bitch. And I tell you with all the love in the world, because you are thinking in Christian dog shit, because you don't have a fucking idea of what happens to humanity. And that even the fucking Christians stop to think that the people don't sin because they want to, but the people was born with the sin that they call it. For me, sin doesn't exist. I'll call it wickedness. Even if they call it a sin, because there are things that they call a sin and there's not even wickedness, they call it a sin. So then it's a whole mixture between evil, wickedness, and sin that they weren't even taught to differentiate amongst. And since they were little, they were obligated to do wickedness and to sin in the Christian sense. Ever since they were little, they were obligated. They had no chance. They had no parents to open their brain, that they learn to think. Their brain is a muscle, and if it's not developed in the early stages where the mother plays a primordial role, and the father also, then you'll never have a person that is adept to do a whole quantity of things. And you expect a person that is older, that has suffered all that since they were little, to later decide to be a good person, to be evil, and that God is just. God is the most unjust person that exists. There is no human being, nor has ever existed, that can even throw any shade in the injustice of God. The injustice of God goes way past anything you ever think of, because we were subjugated, and those are who resisted. Because how many kids have died and didn't even have a chance of being able to think for themselves? But the greater majority of people are indoctrinated, subjugated, cruelly, psychologically, without the least possibility of coming out from the environment that we're born in. That's why we've got poor societies, because they weren't educated. The tools weren't given them. They weren't taught to think critically. They weren't taught to develop their skills, and that's why they're subjugated to poverty and alcohol. But they have no escape. They never saw the escape. And I'm talking about in the society of now, what has happened from now, of all creation has been a brutal abuse in every aspect. Don't even mention what the abuse that the woman has been subjugated to. Don't even mention that. And you have the toupee, the audacity of saying God is just. You haven't a fucking idea, and you should even use your fingers to write to me. What a level of idiocy do you dare to defend your God that does not exist, you son of a fucking bitch? He doesn't exist. You really are a person that is despicable because you love that God and you think He's just. For me, any person that thinks that God is just is despicable. So despicable as eating pork, a lot more than eating pork is despicable, because it is to not appreciate every human being that has ever lived on this earth, me and all of my brethren that have ever existed, because every one of my brethren that has ever existed has been subjugated to the most vile disgrace and humiliation that we've had in us. And to top it off, if you've escaped from all that, there's no other than to grow old and die. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So then you come and tell me that God is just. You haven't the least idea of what goes with humanity. You justify God and you blame humans when the humans had no chance. The people have not ever had a chance. You don't understand that if you take a kid out of newly born from a place that is known of high poverty, and that his grandparents and great-grandparents have been poor, always in the same type of life that's ugly, and the parents also, you grab that child and you bring him up in a place that's completely different, where there's money, where there's adequate eating and an adequate education, where his parents teach him to how to act and to have a different vision of life, and that, and to top it off, they give him weapons so that he can have his own money or his profession. What difference is there in that child that they brought out from compared with the little brother that was left there? So then you say, wait, hold on. Where is the freedom? Where is the fucking freedom in that? If this child was taken out from here and he was given the weapons, and now he is successful because even his lineage provided education, even money, and now he does extremely well and he lives a life that is a good one. With this one, that all he does is to work like a donkey or steal, and then in his free time is to drink and to go around with prostitutes because he can no longer think. And you see that, and you're like, where is the liberty in that? So if I had left this one here and I would take this one here, then I would make this one successful, not this one. So then it depends, our success depends on the environment we were brought up in. Do you think that I can speak the way I speak if I had been brought up in a different home? I tell you no, because I learned, I sucked. I was born in a home where they would speak, they were speakers. My dad was a pastor, my grandfather was a pastor. I breathed religions. Those were the weapons that I took on to be able to build myself. But once you build, you can no longer go back to the past and try to fix a mind, a brain, a body that never received the nutrients, physical ones and spiritual ones, to be able to develop himself, and he was subdeveloped. You cannot blame the human being and say, you're a sinner. Tell you the truth, God made us free. And in that freedom, the possibility of sinning exists. I mean, you gotta be more than a really reverend son of a fucking bitch to say that we have the freedom and the possibility of sinning, when sin God implanted that in our being. You never seen a child? You never seen a baby? We, like David said, I was like, I mean, you don't even understand what David said. He was like, I was formed, begotten in sin. To make you understand that our basic selves is what the Bible calls sin. If we were begotten in sin and our nature is sin, it is because the Creator wanted to beget us in sin. So then how is it going to be our decision to sin or not? And you might say, yeah, we can choose. Sometimes get better, that's fine. We can choose in certain cases to say, I don't want to do this wickedness. That's fine. I think that's fine. And I think that's excellent. But those are small decisions compared with the evil nature that we have. That's the way it is. But because until we get to that decision when we're older of saying, I don't want to be wicked anymore, I don't want to sin anymore, because sin does not exist for me. I'll repeat it again, but I speak in terms, religious and Christian terms. I don't want to sin anymore. For that point, you have sinned tons backwards. It's not that ever since you were a child, you say, I'm a little child, I decide never to sin. You can't. So then for you to tell me the possibility of sinning exists, but that decision depends on us, no, you're more than wrong. More than being wrong, you're a son of a bitch. Wicked. Wicked is speaking for you. Wickedness is speaking in you, because by saying that you're condemning all of us, that we're not like you, because by saying that you're saying, I choose not to sin. So then since I choose not to sin, then all of you can do it? No, sir. Absolutely not. What you're saying is the greatest wickedness, to condemn everyone else, the poor humanity that had no chance, didn't have the means, didn't have the possibility. We were subjugated ever since we are born. We were begotten in sin. We were brought up in sin. We were educated in sin. And you come and tell me that we have the possibility of sinning. No, no, no. We are what the Bible says, sin. Let's start with that. That's why I told you to eat pork is not a sin. It is nauseous, which is different. Which is different. It is nauseous. So then wickedness comes in us. Wickedness comes in, it's in us. That's why you cannot blame anyone, but you can, as a creator of this creation, you can give a special charge to those who notice this. It is not a responsibility, also not like you say. We're talking about billions of beings. Do you remember the example I gave last Shabbat? I loved it. I stopped to think in that example. If I create a bug, and that bug causes for everyone to die, but it jumps from one person to another, who is to blame? Absolutely mine. I am to blame. What if a Christian like this one says, no, 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 but it isn't so? You're telling the story wrong. God didn't create the bug. God created a perfect being. The best of them all. He was, like the Bible says, the seal of perfection, misapplied, but he's not talking about that. The seal of perfection of God. The day that you were created, there was a feast of music made because you were perfect in every aspect. The Christians think that it's talking about this character here, Lucifer. So then, if a Christian tells me you're wrong, he didn't create a bug, he created a perfect being, and that perfect being turned on him through the mysterious of iniquity, which no one knows how. He went from being a perfect being to think evil things because he was perfect. I always asked my parents that, how is it that Satan went from being the best to be the most wicked one? Oh, don't ask those things. That is what you call the mystery of iniquity. Why? Because it is the mystery of how iniquity arrived, or wickedness arrived to a perfect heart. No one has an explanation. They have tried to give me an explanation, which is to say, he was so perfect, that he got to being the vainglory, pride. There's no one like me. He would look at himself to top it off. I'm perfect, the most beautiful of them all. I'm the one that has the best voice of them all. I'm the most leader of them all. I am the one that has most power than all. I serve God. I want to be like God, because there's a being that surpasses me. He's God. So then they made me believe that that's how wickedness was born, of that Lucifer who doesn't exist. That is how they told me that the story started. Okay, let's follow along with that story, my dear Christian. Let's go with that story that I told. So then I create a product, a perfect product. And the perfect product, through a mystery of iniquity, became evil. Not just evil, but it kills, it perverts, and kills a bug. I didn't create a bug, I created a particle that would give life. But alone, follow the Christian story, alone, I created a particle that gives life. But alone, at some point in time, that particle, something worked wrong through a mystery of iniquity, and it became evil. But I didn't create you evil like that. And looks at me like that and says, I'm evil. No, but I didn't make you like that. Now I'm evil and I kill. So then that bug, crazy bug, that was perfect. I didn't want to create it to kill. I didn't want to create it to cause pain. I didn't want to do that. It became crazy. And it got out of my control. And it started to jump from one person to another and to kill. So then I, who are more powerful than that bug, that being, that rebelled, I have the power to stop that and liquidate it. I have the power. But I don't do it. I decide for everyone to deal with that little bug. Because if you ask a Christian, like I asked many times, I asked my parents, why did God not kill Satan? Why did he place him where Adam and Eve was? He didn't have a different place for him? A rebellious angel, and there was a war. They told me there was a war in heaven before the creation. If there was a war in heaven, I can imagine war is war. War is war with weapons. Lucifer and his angels lost. And so then he had no other place than to send them to earth. Not just that, but the creation comes after that. The Creator, no, he didn't stop to think and say, hey, I'm going to do a perfect creation. I'm going to make men in my image. I'll make a happy world. No one told him, hey, but you're going to do it precisely where that son of a bitch is, Lucifer, that it was so difficult to kick him out of here. The one that wanted to be like you, you're going to put him in there? There's no explanation for that. Because that is what the Christians enter and say, wait, it's just that God gave us free will and he wanted to put a test on us. Oh, wait, stop all the machines, stop. What do you mean? That God wanted to test us. If you say that stupid shit that all the Christians say, that God wanted to test us, let's stop and think. Let's use a little bit of the brain that is left. If he wanted to test us, it is because part of his creation needed to test us, and if he needed to test us, then he needed that serpent, that counter. He needed it, and if he needed it, and it had not turned evil, what was he going to do? So then you stop to think. If I go on with the story, if I create something that is good and it becomes evil, and that evil starts to kill all the people, and I know that it will kill them, if I don't do something having the power to stop it, because I as a creator can stop it, what would you say if I don't allow it to stop and it kills everyone? Being able to have stopped it, what do I become? Just as guilty as if I created it evil. Just as guilty. Because if I look at it and it says, oh, okay, then deal with it now. I didn't make it like that. Now, in medicine, there is something called malpractice, which if they allow for something to disperse, right, in medicine, doctors will be held accountable if they allowed cross-contamination or malpractice, even if they didn't want to, just because they didn't follow a procedure, for example, with all the protection that they have to have, gloves, disinfectants, all the things that they say. But if they leave something contaminated and somebody gets that, then the doctor's held accountable. Imagine the guilt that God has to have. Going from having created an angel that turned out evil, turned on him, and he is our torture and our death. We're not talking about that Satan, the Christian one, right? That Satan is a test. No. He sends to hell and to eternal perdition most of people, because the Christians accept that most will be lost. Most will be lost. But because of Satan, but God, being able to stop him, he didn't do so. So then who is to blame? The one that's there. And if they tell you, oh, that it's just that God needs that you prove that you're on his side, because he wants to test you. So then we have to accept that Satan is a direct work of God. Let's start that as a Christian. He didn't go bad, he was made bad. Because he needed that test, right? Let's start with that. He needed that test. I want you to use your logic. If a Christian tells you, oh, because God needs to test you, okay. The material to test you, which is that Satan, didn't come out of chance that he turned on you. He did it on purpose. Let's move on with this logic. It's not that. But let's move on with this logic. So who is to blame then? Always God who did that. Now, if we comprehend that human beings are being tested, then we have a God that is worse than what we thought, because he didn't make us for life, he made us for death. Because no one passes the test, biblically speaking. Second of all, as this person says, he says that God does not laugh at us, but rather he died for us. God died for us. I want you to bear this in mind. First of all, no creator should ever have to die for his creation to save him. Let's start with that. Second of all, the Christian thought is not that God came to die, but rather is that the Son of God to die. If that is not the top maximum injustice to send an innocent quote unquote, to satisfy the justice of the God, because God is so just that he allows for his son, innocent son, at that, to die for the human beings. That God that does that is nauseous to me. It's nauseous to me. Disgusting. It's not that he dies to save him, because he doesn't act and dies saving like we may do. We can go and we can try to save someone and can die trying to save. No, it's not that. It's not that he's defending us and then and he took a bullet for us. No, it's not that. He sent him to die. He sent him to be killed, to satisfy his justice. This goes way past an unjust God. That face of a God that does not exist, because the Christian God does not exist, that Father, that Son doesn't exist, the Holy Spirit doesn't exist. But that face is a face made up by God to actually show how unfair the injustice. If you don't see it, it's because you're an absolute blind person. From the very beginning, what justice is there for me to grab a goat or a sheep and to confess my sins upon it and to kill it? The Jewish religion is based in killing an innocent being in order for the guilty one to be free. Let me ask you, is that justice? In what world or in a human normal mind would it be justice to kill the innocent in order for the guilty one to be free? I want you to understand that. Always the Jewish law of redemption is to kill the innocent one so that the guilty one be free. You say, is that justice? That is the Jewish justice. That's why it's so twisted from the very beginning. That's why this is dog shit. The Christians have taken the very same principle to kill the just one, they call him the just one, for the guilty ones. And they call that justice. That is not justice. It is the apex of injustice. What do we call injustice? That the unjust go free and that the just want to pay for everything. We say, what an injustice, right? The government say, he didn't steal and he's in jail and the one that steals is free. That is the justice of the Christian. This Christian that called me, he says, well, that wrote to me, exactly, we should grab the one that wrote to me and give your life for everyone else, for me, for example, so that it's justice. Since you're so just and you decide not to sin, you should give your life to see if you save a couple of us. That's first of all. But I want you to understand the principle. That's why I teach logic. And this is a practice. You know why I'm reading this? Because this is a practice for what we're going to have to deal with all the people. Because they're going to have to understand it. They're going to have to understand it in a different instance, but they'll have to understand it either way. Because the level of justice that all the Jews have is that the innocent one should pay. The innocent one should pay. And the free one to go free. You understand that, right? Exactly. I'll take a bird or a sacrificial animal that's innocent and to be killed. You say, that's justice. Yeah, that's justice. That is justice, Jewish justice. To kill the innocent one and the guilty one goes free. And the Christians, Lord, I'm guilty, free me. Sacrifice the innocent one, the holy one. And they venerate the holy one. He died for me. Like this son of a bitch says, he died for me. Okay, let me tell you something. To completely finish understanding the level of injustice. I've had experiences in the U.S. what is called class actions, which are judgments at a very high level. Let's suppose that they judge in some certain case, just whatever case, let's see, any brand, I don't want to say a brand. Let's suppose that Amazon makes a business system, and in some point in time, he does a little bit of a fraud. Or they don't consider it to be a scam, but it's a small scam. It's a scam either way, and the years pass, and it accumulates, many years pass, and a group of people with money and a group of lawyers, they sue Amazon. And through the Supreme Court of Justice, or maybe or another type of court, they say, you're right. During the case, I want to explain something, maybe you don't know about this. During the case, I get a note saying, you buy stuff in Amazon, please add yourself to this petition. I have never added myself to any of them, to tell the truth. I don't pay attention to those. I'm gonna do, well, I'll go on with the story. I don't want to confuse you. So then during the case, no, before the case, I get a note saying, do you agree in suing Amazon? Because we believe that Amazon has been doing a bad conduct in business and they have scammed the people. Do you agree? If you agree, please sign here. Mark this, or go into this website and place your name. When they gather a certain amount of signatures, they go with those signatures, and then the case is made. Once the case is made, and they win it, then the judge says, now Amazon has to pay $100 million. Who's going to win? You may ask, who will win those $100 million? because the lawyers have their price, but the beneficiaries are not the lawyers. They have a fee that is pretty high, but the beneficiaries are those who have been supposedly hurt by this. The judge says, yes, Amazon has done a bad business per se. So then the beneficiaries are all of us that are using Amazon. Do you understand that? Okay. For the Christians, the only ones that benefit from the supposed sacrifice of Jesus are those who accept it, those who sign that they agree. Do you agree with the death of Christ to free you from your sins? Yes, I'll sign. I agree. I believe. I believe. Now, if you don't do anything, that's a class action. If you don't do anything, then you're not a beneficiary, because you haven't been in agreement for them to kill Jesus. So you were not in agreement. You were not in agreement that the death of Jesus benefits you of eternal life. You didn't sign. You didn't baptize in the name of Jesus. You didn't say, yes, I accept. I accept the death of Jesus that cleanses me of every sin and wickedness. I accept and I place all my guilt upon Jesus. May the blood of Christ cleanse me of all sin. I didn't say that. Am I benefited? What's a Christian will say? Oh, no. Get fucked. I told you. You had to sign. You had to add yourself to that. Do you know what the true law is? If there is a case, even if I didn't partake, and I said, I actively agree to take money from Amazon, I didn't do anything. But those who asked me to actively act, I didn't do anything. They moved on. They gathered signatures from other people that agreed, and they win it. What do you think? Are they going to give me a part of the beneficiary or not? What do you think? In the U.S., obligatorily, those who bought in Amazon, whether they signed or not, will receive the check. How is it that never happened? Do you know how many of those stories I have of Amazon, of other things that I've bought, of products, brand products that I never even got involved? And I said, well, the product was okay for me. They said, this fails, this battery explodes, sign here. I'm not going to sign anything. Months later, they say, we won the case. Here you have $10. Because they spread the $100 million in all those who use the product. Whether you want it or not, they send you the check, because it's not those who signed only. The signatures is to augment the mass and to convince the judge. But once the judge dictates that this product is faulty and they have to give back money, they give us all back the money. Do you understand that? I want to make that clear. It does not involve, for me, to require. I bought the product, I'm involved in the product. If there's a resolution about that product, it'll benefit me, whether I give a fuck or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, that is human justice, which is pretty bad, but it's clear that it has to be that way. So then, how is it that one Jesus came and died for the sinners, because he came to take away the sin of the world? Right. But I understand that, but let's go on the Christian side, that he's good, and that he is just and he dies for the sinners, but only for the sinners that accept will be benefited. No, sir. Not even in human justice does that exist. If such were the case, by Jesus dying, he saved everyone. Whether they accept it or not, they're all benefited. Because we're all involved, or not. Are we not? If this Christian were of a good heart, he should say, save me and the other two. Exactly. That's what I want you to understand. This person that wrote me specifically, you have to change your heart, because you have a wicked heart. You think that your work will make you saved. And since the rest didn't act like you do, then they have to be condemned. That is absolute wickedness. You have to understand that if you accept the death of Christ for you, it is worth for you that you accept it as your neighbor, or the Iranian that does not accept your God. Same thing. It's worth the same. The Iranian or the Indian that lived 300 years ago that never even knew the word of Christ. The guy says, I? Oh yeah, you too. You're within the human race. You're within the sons of Adam and Eve. Then, well, either it benefits everyone, like Paul says, when one sinned, they all sinned. We're all involved, and by the death of one, what's he say? They were all saved. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. The Christians read my words well, because I'll say at a very high level, technical level. I hope you understand it and not be offended with my level of words. The Christians are reverend sons of bitches. Maybe you cannot comprehend it. They are actual reverend sons of bitches, in which you are included, who wrote this, because to say the stupid thing that the errors of humans cannot be blamed upon God. Wow. So then the mistake of subjugating women, it is humans to blame. God didn't do anything. He made us equal. God never said the desire shall be the woman's unto the man's, and he shall take over you. Oh, he was prophesizing. He saw how evil the male man would be, how evil. And he also noticed, and because of what you ate of the fruit, it'll hurt whenever you have children. It wasn't him who caused that. Poor God, he's just. And also, he didn't tell the field for weeds to spawn. He didn't say that. That was a product because Adam ate of the tree. So then automatically, the field started to spawn thorns. And they had to work. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. How incredible is humans of unjust. The sons of God are very unjust. Those sons of God, because the sons of God are sons of bitches. We are the Messiah, and the Messiah wants to save everyone. It comprehends that our brother that does wickedness, that doesn't understand the thing, he has to be saved, and has to know the truth, and to study his mind where it was brought up, with what lies he was poisoned, how his will was violated to be the way he is. Because I believe that every human being in a prosperous environment would be completely a different being, a different person. So then we have to provide that to the human being, and it'll be a pleasure and a work of the Messiah to do that. So then, you don't want to understand this? Then literally in Argentine Spanish, it is worth a fart, which means useless, another technical word. Right, all the hours he's been listening. Right. It is worth a fart, all the hours that you listen to me. It is worth a fart, it's useless. I'm wasting time on you, but I do it for my friends. All the text you read. Oh, yes. He's like, God doesn't laugh at us, but he died for us. There's a reason why God will disappear from this earth. There's a reason why God clearly leaves the power forever and yields it unto a group. That's so beautiful to understand. It may seem incredible, it may seem that it won't happen, but it is clear that God stops ruling this earth, and he stops ruling it forever. God will no longer be God of this earth. The God of this earth leaves, and he yields power over to a group that becomes the new God of the earth. And it's a group of many people, because it's lots of work that you have to do. It's lots of work that you have to do. And it'll be done with time. Just imagine the time that I waste in answering something. Imagine the level of questions and questionings that the rest of the human race will do upon us. It will drive us crazy, but someday, in a different circumstance, it'll be easier for him to understand. This person, it's most likely that he didn't understand the thing because he's obtuse in what he believes. Maybe he didn't understand the thing, and since we don't have any power whatsoever, so then he might say, this guy's a charlatan, and I listen to him because I like the way he speaks, but he's a charlatan either way. That is not right, because he cannot demonstrate to me empirically with something that what he says is true. It's true. Now we cannot demonstrate it, but once we can demonstrate it, then things will change. Things will change, because I don't expect that the people believe by faith. I am sick and tired that by faith, poor people, because of the faith, look at what he believes. By faith, we believe that we went to the moon and we're going to the moon again. It's all by faith, by faith. By faith, we believe that there is a bug that came and killed us all and we have to protect ourselves. It's all by faith because no one sees anything. It's all by faith. They believe that they'll be saved because they believe in the cross of their Lord Jesus that died for them. Once they see things that are actually visible and clear and miracles and real miracles, then we're going to have other tools, different ones. I'm not going to ask people to believe by faith. Of course not. They'll be most unjust. It'll be such a son of a bitch as the God that created us. It is actually for what they themselves can prove. And they will prove it. They don't need to exercise their faith. They will prove it. Once they prove it, it won't be a faith. It'll be absolute confidence, and they'll believe because they see it. Because they see it, they feel it, they apply it to their life. They'll understand it. They'll believe it. They'll appreciate it. Because faith, we're sick and tired. I don't want to believe anything by faith anymore. Who wants to believe things by faith? No. Because that is how they've lied to us our entire life by faith. Our entire life they've lied to us by faith. You have to believe this by faith. This is sin by faith. And by faith, if you don't do this, you go to hell. And you have to be baptized by faith. But I never saw God. You have to believe it so. Like the Holy Trinity. And you have to be baptized in the name of Jesus or Father, Son, Holy Spirit by faith. It's all by faith. And you'll be saved by faith. And everything, and you have to pray. God answers you, but he doesn't answer me. It's because you have no faith. You have to have more faith. And pray and waiting with faith. Shove that faith up your ass. Have faith in us, in you. Faith in us. Nothing else. It's the only faith you can have now. Look at what's good for you and what's not good for you. Anyway, I think this has been answered. Continue to listen, continue to test things, and if you understood today, how I would be happy that you understood today, and say at the end of it all, it's something clicked in my mind. Tell you the truth, I've been very indoctrinated. I don't want to really give in like Armando that would say that God was unjust. I can't let go of that bone. You know how they catch a monkey in Africa? They put a jar like this, and it's tied to the ground, and they put a fruit, something that the monkeys like, inside. So then they can put their hand inside, open hand. They can put their hand like that, and they grab the fruit. But when they want to take their hand out, since it's closed, the hand doesn't come out. It would only come out if they were to let go of the fruit and leave. But since they don't want to let go of the prey, they stay there. It says that literally they grab the monkey with their hands. If they want to kill him, they can kill him. Because the monkey's so ambitious and so avarice that he doesn't want to let go. So he's there and he does the effort. He can't let go. He just needed to let go and leave. No. And this man, like many other people, don't want to let go. And they're in prison. They don't want to let go. What do they not want to let go? That God is just, that God is love, that the blame is yours and mine. No, sir, God is not just, God is not love. The only one that is just and love is the Messiah, and the Messiah is not that God. It's a human being like you and like me, and that will comprehend all of his brethren, and he comes for all his brethren, and doesn't worship any God. When you let go that love for God, that makes him be just God in your mind, you'll be able to understand my words. And if you don't understand them now, I'll prophesy to you. Someday you will, and you will say, What an idiot I was. I was a son of a bitch, just like you said. I try. I try. Question number 3. Do you believe that, for example, I'm in the LVE reunions and I lock myself in the room and then throughout the week I listen to it again, and in the meantime my children and grandchildren have heard the teachings, and days later I receive criticism because of what I hear, and they mock that it isn't so and that no Messiah will ever appear. Anyway, do you think that I've done wrong in listening to the teachings that are exposed to criticism? Either way, I won't answer anything. I just do it in my mind. What would happen when our enemies find out and they don't want to accept what we are? And it was all a design of the Creator. Well, give or take, what I can understand is as follows: that he listens to the subjects with the volume up, trying for other people to listen. And all he achieves is that they mock at him and they say that crazy guy is completely insane. He says that you're the Messiah and you're not. Absolutely, there's no Messiah, or the Messiah must be someone else, divine, whatever. Who knows what they might say, the grandchildren. But how crazy they are. They think they are what they're not. They make me laugh. And yes, if you were to listen to what the eternal truth is, outside of context, and in an incredulous environment, obviously it'll be laughable because they won't understand it. We say one crazy thing after the other, that the earth is flat, that the vacuum cleaners are no good except to kill you, that the religions are all fake, that God is a son of a bitch, that Satan does not exist, that it's complete insanity in that you're the new gods of the earth. Right there, that's completely fucked off. They augmented the bet little by little. Now they declare themselves gods. And this says that happens to all the fanatic groups that end up being God. It says that it's been happening since a long time ago. All it's needed is for them to take the Kool-Aid, like some groups, and to go into the ascension, because they've decided, I don't want to use words, they've decided the bye-bye of everything. That's all they need. You're too crazy. That is what it'll provoke if they listen to the subjects without interest or to criticize. Of course, I say let them listen to it or not. If you see that it produces that, then you have to listen to them alone with headphones or with a low volume. Don't give pearls to the pigs. In this case, the grandchildren are the pigs, just like that. Don't give pearls to the pigs. It'll be a motive to laugh. Then don't listen to them anymore, and then tell them to fuck off. What do you mean? You say this guy's Christian? No, I'm not Christian. You tell them to fuck off, to literally go fuck off. Someday they'll understand it. For now, have them go fuck off. I don't give them anything. I don't give them anything. If they care that you listen, then I can invite them. But if you're going to laugh, then go fuck off. As simple as that. You don't have to listen and look into it too much. And when they say laughing, he says, you think that either way I've done wrong in listening to the subjects that are exposed like that. It's not that you've done it wrong. You're testing how things are. Either way, I don't answer anything. Well, that's how you're wrong. You have to answer. You have to answer. If they take their sword, we take our sword too. Obviously, you have to answer. Clearly, you have to answer. You can all fuck off. I don't know what the fuck you're listening to. That's not for you. It's not for stupid minds like you. It's for intelligence. You want to be intelligent? No, you're little stupid ones. Look at your face. You see how stupid you look? You're going to understand this preaching? Of course not. You don't get into the things that you should not get into, because it's as if I were to speak about physics that you won't understand. So then, since you don't understand, then shut your ass. That's how you have to answer the people. That's how you have to answer them, with nothing else. If they're aggressive, then even more aggressive, even more aggressive. But wait, you think that? Yeah, because it's not for low minds like yours. It's not for that. You're designed for something else, something simple. Something else that you cannot think. So then don't meddle Well, I was going to say a phrase that's kind of ugly. Well, don't meddle into things that you were not called to do. And that's why you don't understand it. But don't break my balls, okay? Shut your ass and get the fuck out of here. That's as simple as that. That's how you should answer. That's how you should answer. What else? What'll happen when our enemies find out? Who are our enemies? I can imagine all the rest, right? And they find out and they don't want to accept what we are? Well, we'll see that later. We'll look at that later. I'm not going to say what'll happen now. We'll see that later. 4. Another question. Another question. The question, basically, to understand it, it says, what is your opinion about this text? Any opinion? A special one. Luke 8:16 through 18 reads as follows. It says, no one that turns on a light covers it with a jar or places it under the bed, but rather he places it up top so that those who enter can see the light. Because nothing is there occult that shall not be made manifest, nor hidden that shall not be known, and to come out into the light. Look, then, how do you hear? Because all who has shall be given, and those who have not, even what they think they have, will be taken away. Well, this text for me is spectacular. You can apply it to all things hidden, of wickedness per se, that they're hidden, that will come out into the light. You can apply it to that, but it's not the real application of the text. The real application of the text, we have to read it in its context. That Messiah is speaking, and he's giving light. The Messiah is saying, in other words, it's Yahweh usurping the Messiah, taking the symbol of the Messiah and also giving an example to the Messiah. So then, the Messiah, when he starts to speak, he says, no one that turns on a light does he cover it with a jar. We're going to talk about not darkness, not about lies, but rather directly about light. This is very important in this text. I want you to pay attention to me, because what you believe that the text says, it doesn't say. I understand that everything which you understand about the text is that all the lies and falsehoods someday will come out into the light. That's not what the text says. It's not what the text says. That all the conspiracy theories and the hidden things will come out into the light. That's not what the text says. So then that's why I decided to answer this. No one that turns on a light does he cover it with a jar or places it under the bed, but rather he places it in a candlestick so that those who enter can see the light. Very well. Here the Messiah is speaking, and he's saying, no one that turns on a light does he hide it. What is he speaking of, though? He's saying that the Messiah is the only one that would turn on a light, because he is the bearer of light. He is Lucifer. The Messiah is the true and only Lucifer. Lucifer is the bearer of light. So then, the whole common world that turns on a light at home, he doesn't put it under the table, evidently. First of all, because if it's out of wood, it'll turn everything on. And another one is because if they turn on the light, it's not to hide it. It's so that when the people enter into the home, I want you to understand the whole panorama. They enter to where the bearer of light is, which is Lucifer. He sees the light of Lucifer. Very well. Or of the Messiah. Very well. So then, let's place ourselves in the subject. This is not to discover lies, this is to see the light of the Messiah. So then, the Messiah turns on a light at home. Those who enter his home, the Messiah does not hide your light, but rather he places it in your face, whether you like it or not. Whether it blinds you and you leave and you say, no, I don't like that's bad, I don't like that light, no matter what you say. But the Messiah places his light, the light of the Messiah. So then, moving on. So that those who enter will see the light. I want you to have that concept, or else here is where the interpretation fucks off. and is misinterpreted. It's talking about seeing the light, not about seeing the lies, mind you. Because if I start to say the lies, then what I'm exposing is saying this is a light. You're not seeing a light. I'm showing you a light. You understand what I'm saying, right? Okay. Follow what the text says. Because there is nothing hidden that will not be made manifest. What is it referring to? If it is bad, hidden things that will be made manifest by the Messiah, it is clear. But it's not what the text is referring to. What the text is referring to is that the light that the Messiah has is a light that no one else has. It is not, in this case, it's not referring to that the Messiah is denouncing, but rather that it is showing the light of the Messiah. And the light of the Messiah is what the Messiah teaches. The message of the Messiah is a light in itself. What is the light? You might say everything that LVE is. God is dog shit. I'm not here saying something that goes way past than a light. That we are the new God of the earth. That is a light. That everyone will be saved. That is a light. That is the light of the Messiah. I'm not denouncing, which I also do. This that says here is a light, and that says a light. That too. But the light of the Messiah is the truth of the Messiah. Because there's those that are not the Messiah, but all they say is to denounce. But there's no truth in them. The Messiah has light. He is the truth, which also includes to denounce the falsehoods. But aside from the falsehoods, they're denounced on themselves when he says the truth as it is. When the Messiah says there's only one God, there's not two or three, he doesn't have a son, that is a truth. They are explicitly denounced or implicitly. The rest of the lies that say it's three, but then lies are denounced, but he's not denouncing the lies, he's telling you the truth. God is one. It's not two, he doesn't have a son. If someone came to earth, he came, or no one came. That is a truth, which gives for granted that the rest is all a lie, as a given. When the Messiah says God does good and evil, there is no Satan. That is a truth in itself. That he uncovers all the rest of the lies, that's something else, but the truth is that God does good and evil. The other truth, whichever it might be, is that Messiah is human and is here. It's a group of people. That is a light. He uncovers all the other lies, uncovers them, but the light is the information that the Messiah brings. I haven't understood this, I'll move on. Because there's nothing hidden that will not be made manifest. There is the truth that has always been hidden by the word that is hidden, concealed. The Messiah makes it manifest. That is what the text is saying. Nor hidden, concealed like what is in the Bible, that will not be made manifest and come out into the light. It's not referring to the bad things that indirectly or by default you see them as evil. It means that the light surges. When the light surges, it exposes the lies. But it doesn't surge up by exposing the lies, but by exposing the truth. When you see the truth, the lies are exposed by themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it is fundamental. It's saying, talking about the Messiah's message. Watch how you hear. Exactly, it says pay attention how you listen, because it might be the case like this guy that wrote me. It says, I've been listening to you for years. No. Watch how you hear my words, mind you. Watch how you hear, because all who has, those who have been receiving of the Messiah, those who have been gathering the water in their cistern, those who have, more will be given. And I'm telling you the words that are missing here. Because anyone who has light or wisdom, more will be given unto him. But who gave him at the beginning? The text says it. Watch then how you hear. Watch then how you hear. For the wisdom doesn't come from your parents. We're talking about biblical wisdom. Your parents didn't give it to you. Your church didn't give it to you. It comes from the mouth of the Messiah. So then watch how you listen well. Because unto all who have what they heard of the Messiah, wisdom will be given. And to all who does not have, that does not understand, that has their own wisdom from other churches, other religions, and to all who don't have the Messiah's wisdom or the light of the Messiah that he placed in his house, even what he thinks he has, his salvation that he thinks he has, all of the benefits that they think they have, all of the things that because of being obedient and because the other one is a sinner, and because I make an effort in fulfilling the law or whatever, or in worshiping or doing whatever I have to do, or to cut my foreskin off or whatever, doesn't matter, same thing. Whoever that doesn't have the light of the Messiah, but the things that he does have, even what he thinks he has, shall be taken away. But of course, every Christian, every Jew that makes his religion, and he thinks that they have a benefit, eternal life, through Jesus, right? Not through Jesus, that is, that will have this, that will have that will do this and that will receive here and there. He won't receive any of this. He'll lose everything. Everything that he thought that would happen, he'll lose because it's wrong. So then the Messiah will give him. I'm talking about from the side of the Messiah, from a side that he didn't think he would ever obtain, but what he wants as truth and light, he has to lose it all. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? He has to lose it because it's not compatible, the Christian or Jewish or Muslim light with ours. You can say, I used to think, of course, I was in agreement. No. And for us, Allah, God, Yahweh, Hashem is dog shit. That's it, it's over. There's no more compatibleness, not with the Muslims or the Jews or the Christians. There's nothing that you can be compatible with them in, because our God are we. Our God are we. We have a God creator, which is a son of a bitch, and who will leave. For all the rest, Muslims, Jews, Christians, and the rest, they have a God that they want to worship. We, on top of not worshiping the God creator, we blame him for everything, just like he indicated for us to do, in the rite of Yom Kippur. That's it, it's over. And we kick him in his ass for him to leave. That's the way it is. Is there any point in which we can meet with the Muslims, Jews, Christians, the free thinkers, the religious ones? No, there isn't. So then everything that they have to lose it. Everything, they have to lose it. For that very reason, I read in Isaiah that they will all say, they are dead. Those gods that we thought were dead are dead, and they will not resurrect. And all of a sudden they're going to look at another being and they'll say, oh, now we understand. You are our God. You are the one that will save us. It couldn't be any clearer. The text continues, watch then how ye hear, for unto all who have wisdom and light of the Messiah, more will be given unto him. And unto all who do not have wisdom of the Messiah, light of the Messiah, even what he thinks he has, what he imagined he had, what he believed he had, will be taken away. Look at how it says in the New Living Translation. Luke 8:18. So then, pay attention to how you hear. Well, it is very clear. This is the last part. I should have read, no one that turns on a light would cover it with a jar or put it under the bed, but rather would place it on a candlestick so that those who enter can see the light. Okay, there is nothing hidden that will not be made manifest, nor hidden that is not be made to be known and come out into the light. I'll read that to you, and now I go on to number 18 in the New Living Translation. So then, pay attention about how you hear. That is the light of the Messiah, the light. So then, pay attention to how you listen. those who listen my teachings, more understanding will be given. This is more than clear. This is so that a baby could understand everything that I've explained to you. They understood it and explained it. The words of the Messiah is how you listen to them. You have to pay lots of attention. Those who listen to my teachings, the Messiah says, more will be given unto them. Instead of saying understanding, I would say wisdom. More wisdom will be given. But those who don't listen, even what they think they understand will be taken away. It is more than clear. A baby, a newborn can understand this. That light is the light of the Messiah. So then how could they read this text? It's as follows. No one, in other words, when the light is of the Messiah is turned on, which is wisdom, he doesn't place it under the bed or keeps it for himself, but rather he places it on a candlestick. He becomes a Lucifer, the Messiah does, and places it where? In his house, so that those who enter, notice this very well, it's very clear. The Messiah is not going to go and look for the people in this instance. For those who enter in his house, for those who want to listen to the words of the Messiah, they see the wisdom of the Messiah, because it'll discover everything that the Bible says, because all of the hidden message that was concealed in the Torah and in the entire Bible, the Messiah will bring it out into the light in his house for those who enter. So then, pay lots of attention to how you listen to the words of the Messiah. To those who listen to my teachings, more light will be given, more wisdom. But those who don't listen and could care less, even what they think they have will be taken away. Perfect. It'll be people that will have to learn everything once again, but they will no longer be a part of the group that makes up the Messiah. So then this text is spectacular, and it should be used to say that the hidden things are not the things that the governments hide from you, but the hidden things from the Bible that the Messiah brings out into the light, because he's a king, and it's for the kings. Very well. Wow. 1:13. 2 hours. We haven't even begun with today's text. That's fine. You know who plays today, which is, it's a clásico of Avellaneda, Independiente Racing. Oh, wow, it's gonna be lit. I think it's in the Independiente field, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it is in Independiente. In the Independiente field and Racing, they're like 200 meters away. They can clearly see each other. They're in Avellaneda. They're not stuck together, but between the parking lots in the terrain, there is one street that separates the two terrains, but the stadiums, if you go to Google Maps in Avellaneda, Buenos Aires, you will see the Racing Stadium and the Independiente Stadium, which are the death rivals, but in the instance where they can clearly see both. So then, and if they advance still for the side of the Capital Federal, there's a little bridge. You go into the glorious ghetto of the Boca, and the Bomboneros there. But it is a federal capital right there. If you cross and you go on the street and you cross the bridge, you will go into the Bombonera. But now we come out of the Bombonera, and now they will play the Clásico of Independiente Racing, which is going to be excellent. If you want to watch warrior rivalry games, it's this one that you should watch at 11:30. I'll leave you in a little bit. Oh wow, I've given you lots of energy already. So then it'll be a good game. Racing and Independiente Racing. Very well. Proverbs chapter. Oh, well, next Shabbat. we'll wrap this up because Proverbs 7 we've advanced quite a bit. But what I enjoy the most is actually to maintain on high the message of the eternal truth, because it is the light that we have. The light that we have is not that we study Proverbs and I explain the meaning, the hidden meaning. No, no. The light is our message. It's the most valuable thing. That even if you listen to it every Shabbat, is the most solemn and precious thing that exists on earth. You cannot pay it with gold, because the dividends that it will give you will be eternal. In the bet that you are into, not because you like to bet, but because you understand it, you love those that are truly LVE, you know that at some point in time of this story, sooner than later, it'll give you dividends for life. That's what I'm telling you. You'll have to have properties that will be very extensive and wide, that will have to build to store only the level of gratefulness that the people will have with us, because they're going to receive everything that they receive from God. They wish to receive from God what they prayed for in their prayers, what they knelt down to do sacrifices, those who cried in order for God to give them. He will never give that to them, not even because of what they asked, but the Messiah will give it to them. And when the Messiah gives it to them, and at a level never even dreamed by them, of course they're going to overflow with love towards the Messiah. And when there's love towards the Messiah, there are gifts. It's really going to be a future that's very, very, very bright for the Messiah and for all humanity. Thanks to the Messiah, for all humanity. So then, actually, what you place and pay attention to every Shabbat, even if you think you know what you know, but if these words do not become a part of your flesh, like I've told you that those who eat pork, their cells are pork. When you listen to the eternal truth and you eat and you suck at the eternal truth, there comes a point in which it becomes a part of your nature, and you start to transpire the eternal truth. You start to understand what the eternal truth is. And the eternal truth is actually different to everything else. We are God. We live for us because we know that we will rule this world. We know God the Creator, and we know that He has to give us a certain power, but we don't worship that God because we know Him very well, what He has done in all of this world. So then, all that will give a great, great dividend for all eternity. And having said these words, I'll begin with Proverbs chapter 7, just a little bit. My son, guard my reasons and treasure my commandments with you. Guard my commandments and you shall live, and my law as the pupils of your eyes, as the apple of your eyes. Bind them to your fingers and write them in the heart, deep within. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they keep thee from the strange woman, and from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths, a young man void of understanding, just whatever, Jewish or Christian young man, passing through the street near her corner, and he went in the twilight, in the evening, in the black of the dark night, and behold, there met him a woman, a church, a religion, comes in to meet him with the attire of an harlot, all of them. There are harlots, and they dress as harlots. And they are the wife of Yahweh, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with impudent face said unto him, I have a peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore, came I forth to meet thee, to evangelize you, diligently to seek thy face, your little lost sheep. Like Ambeta would say, there's a lost sheep, glory to God, glory to God. He would say, stand up, who in his heart, everyone would feel it, who in his heart would feel that God is calling. And the people with those words, and if you know how to use your voice, and the people trust you just a little bit, their heart starts to beat. You feel that the Spirit is speaking. You don't feel shit. You feel Gambeta's voice, and where you are, you start to feel insanity, and you start to feel the voice of God. And they say, you know you've done bad things, sinful things. If I were to tell you, you know what they are. You start to feel the pressure here. Yes, I need the forgiveness of God because the other day I was alone and I did this and that, and just by looking, we're all sinners, and I imagined something, and oh, I'm such a sinner. The Spirit is speaking to you. He says, you're a little sheep and you want the forgiveness of God. Then stand up. Almost I stand up like that because you jump like a spring because you just want to be forgiven because you're a sinner, because you're dog shit. They tell you dog shit, garbage. And you want to receive the pardoning of God. And somebody's offering it to you, the servant of God, like a pastor. Is you want God to forgive you? You want God to take that stain that pressures your heart? Stand up. Because you will feel the presence of the Spirit. And so then the people with such solemnity, the tears start to roll. I mean, don't stand up. People are standing up right here. No, you can sit down. You can sit down. That's fine. You can sit down unless we sing some song of Boca. River, tell me what it feels while taking that out to have been played in the national. The people start to cry, to move, be moved in the heart. I'm a sinner. I feel the presence of the Spirit. The little lost sheep, they want to go back into the flock. And the son of a bitch would say, who wants the baptism? People that had already been baptized, that were Adventists already, that had left. I need another baptism. And he would baptize them again, the son of a bitch. What it is to play with the sensibility of the people. You have a talent to speak. You move the emotions in the people, and how easy it is to move and touch their guilt because you're speaking for God, and you know, like a son of a bitch, you know that they are guilty. Why does Gambetta and all the pastors, I just placed them as an example, all the pastors know how to speak to the people and touch on their guilt because they are sons of bitches, because that guilt is what they have, and to use the psychology to know how to touch on the people. And when you make them feel guilty, they are vulnerable to whatever. And if you're offering a solution to that weakness, well, the people totally surrender to them. That's why we move on with the story. It says, and she grabbed him and kissed him, and says, I have found thee, and came to find thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. Come to my temple, you'll see how beautiful. It's talking about a sexual relationship, of course, a sexual relation with the church, which is exactly that, with God, intimately. I have perfumed my bed. Come, let us grow drunk with love. Come and let me take your guilt away. Let us have our fill with love until the morning. Let's go drunk with love. I'll take that anxiety away, that feeling of guilt. I'll give you justice, pleasure. Because my husband, Yahweh, is not at home. She says he left 2,000 years ago. He's gone on a long journey. He's taking way too long. I don't know when he's coming back. And the bag of money, she says, well, I don't have money with that. You have to put that in. You're going to have to cooperate with that. And on the signal day, he shall return, the appointed day. She asked money because it says my husband took the money. So then, if I invite you to my house, it is implicit, that message. That message is there. It is understood, saying he took the bag of money. What means is, I don't have money. Now you're going to help me. I offer you my house, my temple, and you give me your money. On the appointed day he shall return, the day of the full moon. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield like every good evangelist. With the flattering of her lips she forced him exactly. That is how the preachers have manipulated all of us. To the point that he went after. He says, I want that religion. Where's your church? I'll go with you to the gathering. He goeth after her straight away as an ox goeth to the slaughter. Exactly. That is how they go, like little sheep, the lost ox, and they go straight into the slaughter. That's what the churches are, slaughter places. And as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart start through his liver, as a bird hasted to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. How horrible, terrible. That is how all the religious leaders are. That is the woman, that is the strange woman. Hearken unto me now, therefore, ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Listen, pay attention, or else it makes no sense. Same thing as the light. That the light came very well. The light of the Messiah, I place it on the table. Look at it, it's here. If you like that light, and you take hold of that light, you'll have more. If you don't like that light that you think you have, there's no such thing as light of your own. That's why you will lose all the benefits that you thought that you were going to get. Listen well, as the text says. Now, children, listen to me and attend to the words of my mouth, not the commandments of God, the Torah, the law of Moses. What God says, no, none of that. Whom do you have to listen to? My reasoning, the way I reason. Today was a complete pouring out of my reasoning, complete pouring out of logic, wherever you want to see the subject. Now, therefore, my children, listen unto me, and pay attention to the reasons of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. That part about your heart to no part of God or church. The only God are we, the eternal truth. It is our God. That is our God. We are our own God. We have a God creator, yes, of course. But we're forming a new God, which are us. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. No, that of the prostitute woman, of course. Go not astray in her paths. As it says in the Spanish DHH, do not deviate your thoughts unto that woman. No. Don't even stop to think at all about all the religions. Do not deviate your thoughts unto that woman. Do not get lost by going after her, because many has she made beat, slain, and even the stronger have been slain by her. Who was one of those strong ones? Moses, because of his religion, his own religion and his God. He says, hey, Moses, come here. I'm going to show you the earth. Oh, how beautiful. Boom. A heart attack. And that's how all of the other prophets, you that I promised, oh, wait, no. I'm going to kill them all in the desert. Wait, you brought them out of Egypt? No, but your mind is too much of a slave. They'll be slaves. You're pretty donkeys. Pretty much donkeys. Did I promise? Yes, I did promise. But no. You know what? No. You'll die here. And your children, maybe I'll bring your children in. But you, no. Just die there. That is the God that everyone worships. Because many she has made to be left wounded, and even the strongest have been slain by her. Slain by the religions. Slain by the religions. 27. Her house is the way to hell. The way to hell are all the churches. In fact, they look like graves, open graves. There's not much difference between a very rich graveyard and a church. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. That is what all the churches are. And one sings and prays, and you go strictly, you don't even know what it is. You're digging your own grave. And that's how the chapter ends. In the Torsmat, it says, Proverbs 7:27, her house, her temple, the temple of the woman, is the path to hell. It is more than clear. The temple, the churches, are the path onto hell. First of all, because they send you directly. If you don't do what we tell you, you go directly to hell. And even saying what the church tells you, they say, since we're not perfect, that no, you go directly to hell. So then their house, the house of this lady, which are all the religions, it could be a mosque, the temple in Jerusalem, any Jewish temple, any synagogue, and all of the Christian temples that have ever existed of all the religions. Her house is the way unto hell, the way that leads and ends in the worst death of them all. How clear is this text? How clear is this text for the whole world? It's talking about the men that meddle with married women. As it turns out, the text is talking about something else very different, because the Messiah notices what the text says. And clearly that is what the text says, and the Messiah does not hide the light, but rather he places it upon his table for all who enter into the house of the Messiah, not in the house of the prostitute. All those who enter into the house of the Messiah and accept and listen carefully to his reasons, and they obtain light and wisdom, and they will obtain more and more light and wisdom. Now, those that do not come to this house, they go directly to the house of the prostitute. What they thought that they were going to obtain, they won't obtain, because it doesn't exist. Psalms 78, 1-2, New Spanish Bible. Listen, my people, to my teaching. Pay attention to the words of my mouth, which I will speak, opening my mouth, pronouncing sentences, allowing to pour out old riddles. A flower is born every day the sun comes out. Every now and then you hear that voice as of a delicious bread, delicious to sing, in the balconies of the mind along with the cicadas. But in turn there exists a transformer which consumes the best that you have, throws you back, and demands more and more. There comes a point that you no longer want to. Suck at the liberty's breast. Suck at the eternal truth's breast. You will always carry her within the heart. Write them deep within your heart. They may corrupt you. You may even forget that she is always there. Yesterday I had a dream with the hungries, the crazies, the hungry, those who left, those who have existed, those who are no longer here, those who are imprisoned. Today I awoke singing this song, The Eternal Truth, which has been written time ago, but it is still necessary to sing it, speak it, say it, show it one more time. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable. God, the new God, the true God, is Argentinian. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live, or we swear, with glory, to die. Let's go the eternal truth. Semper Fi. Many thanks for all of your collaborations, gifts, comments, likes. Don't forget to give us a like. Also, don't forget to continue to help with your tithes and offerings, which are absolutely necessary because we're only a few, but those of us that are just a few will be the most valuable of all history of the universe, of the world. We are a few, but we will be many, and make lots of noise. Let's go Boca. Tuesday, it's time to watch the game against the Catholic University. Don't forget to tune in to watch the game and put all of your energy so that we win. Hallelujah to every one of you. We shall meet again next Shabbat. Today we shall eat spaghetti with tuco sauce, however you want to call it, which Leslie and Angelina will make fresh because we like it fresh. So then we'll start to make it. And as I am turning on the game that has already begun of Independiente Racing. Hallelujah to every one of you. Many thanks. We shall meet again next Shabbat.